The wind moved softly across the prairie the night Elias Boone became a husband, carrying with it the smell of dust, sage, and the quiet weight of a promise he never believed life would grant him. Because Elias was a shy rancher shaped by loneliness and long silences, a man who spoke more to horses than to people, whose hands were strong from work but whose heart startled easily. And when the small wedding ended and the lanterns dimmed, he stood frozen in the doorway of the ranch house, hat in hand, unsure how a man like him was supposed to act now that a woman stood behind him bearing his name, because Clara Boone, once Clara Whitmore, had crossed half a country not for land or safety, but for him, and that truth frightened him more than storms or stampedes ever had. Inside the room, the walls were simple, the bed neatly made, the lamp glowing low, and Clara's footsteps were gentle as she closed the door, not locking it, just resting her palm there as if to say she was staying by choice. And when she spoke his name, Elias felt it in his chest. The sound of it carried warmth, not demand, and he turned slowly, eyes unsure, as though afraid to look too long and break the moment. But Clara did not rush him. She smiled with a courage born of kindness, not boldness, reminding him softly that they were married now, that no expectations needed to be met tonight except honesty. And those words loosened something in him, because Elias had lived a life where silence was safety and distance was survival. And now this woman stood close enough that he could feel her presence, real and steady, and he confessed in a low voice that he didn't know how to be a husband, didn't know how to be wanted, didn't know how to cross the space between them without fear. And Clara answered not by moving away, but by stepping closer, her voice calm as she told him that marriage was not about knowing everything, but about choosing each other in the quiet moments. And when she took his trembling hand, he nearly pulled back, not because he didn't want her, but because wanting her felt too big, too bright for a man who had learned to live in the shadows. Yet she held on, firm but gentle, reminding him again that she was his wife now, not something fragile to fear, but a partner who had seen his shyness and chosen him anyway. And as the lantern flickered, Elias felt the world narrow to the sound of her breathing and the steady rhythm of his heart. And when she rested her head against his chest, he forgot the years of isolation, forgot the doubts that had followed him like dust trails, because in that simple closeness, he understood that love did not need bravado, it needed presence. And time seemed to slow as they spoke in whispers about the life they would build. The mornings filled with chores and laughter, the evenings with stories, the hard days softened by shared burdens. And when Clara finally pulled back just enough to look into his eyes, there was no rush in her gaze, only trust, and Elias felt something in him settle, something that had been waiting all along to be seen. And as the night deepened, they moved together not in urgency but in understanding, letting the world beyond the ranch fade into darkness, choosing each other without spectacle, without fear. And as the lamp was turned down and the room grew quiet, Elias Boone, once the loneliest man on the plains, realized that love did not arrive like thunder, it arrived like this, softly, bravely, and completely. And if this story of a shy rancher and a woman who believed in him moved you even a little, then stay with us, because here at Wild West Dairies, we tell stories of forgotten hearts, second chances, and love that grows strong in the open land. So subscribe to the channel and ride with us into more timeless tales of the Wild West.